everyone, welcome back to GK Today. I am Sana and in this video we'll cover the current affairs. Before we move ahead, let me inform you that these questions are part of our daily 20 MCQ series 2022 in the GK Today's Android application. So if you are looking for the text version of these questions and their explanations along with the interactive quiz, you may consider joining our daily 20 MCQ series in the GK Today Android application. In this course in app, you get daily 20 MCQs, a fortnightly quiz, a monthly revision document, and also category-wise revision e-books that are optimized for reading on mobile. You are also able to access all archives of questions from January 2020 onwards. And let me tell you one more thing. If you want the Hindi version of this session, you can refer to our former channel named as GK Today. The link has been given in the description box from where you can reach to. So without taking much of your time, let's get started.
Good morning everyone. Welcome back to GK Today. Sorry yesterday I was not well, but today we'll be discussing most important MCQs for 21st and 22nd of June 2022. Let's start. Which is the venue of the Industrial Decarbonization Summit 2022? So Union Road Transport and Highways Minister Nitin Gadkari inaugurated the Industrial Decarbonization Summit 2022 in New Delhi. And the focus is on the roadmap for carbon neutrality by the year 2070. And also he emphasized on maintaining the equilibrium between ecology, environment and development. Okay. And also he spoke about the government's priority on green hydrogen, bioethanol, bio-LNG and bio-CNG. Okay. So the venue of this summit was New Delhi. Now let's see some of the important venues that were in news. Which is the venue of the National Conference on Cyber Safety and National Security? So venue of this event was New Delhi. Which is the venue of the plenary session of 110th International Labour Conference? Answer is Geneva, Switzerland. And don't forget that the headquarters of International Labour Organization also lies in Geneva, Switzerland. Which is the venue of the 12th Ministerial Conference of the World Trade Organization? Again, same answer, it is Geneva, Switzerland. And the headquarters of World Trade Organization lies in Geneva. Which is the venue of the Biotech Startup Expo 2022, which was inaugurated by the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So this conference was organized in New Delhi and it was organized by Department of Biotech and BIRAC. What is this? Biotechnology Industrial Research Assistance Council. The Ministry of Finance Department of Expenditure sent how much fund to 14 states as a revenue deficit grant? So how much fund has been transferred by Ministry of Finance? It is 7,183.42 crore rupees. And this is the second monthly installment of post-devolution revenue deficit that has been granted to the states. Which is the venue of the Khelo India Youth Games 2021? So the venue of this event was the state Haryana, and the first spot in this game was occupied by also Haryana. Second was Maharashtra and third was Karnataka. So Haryana has total 137 medals overall. Maharashtra had 125 medals and Karnataka has 67 medals. Okay. And what was the mascot for this event? Jai and Vijay. Okay. And the regional mascot was Dhakar. Also, what was the theme song for this event? Hum, Hum. So these things are important for your exam. Okay. Now you have to tell me who was the winner of Khelo India University Games that was recently held in Bangalore. Do let me know in the comments. Next is, which country is the host of Shanghai Cooperation Organization's Regional Anti-Terrorist Structure meeting in 2022? So India hosted the SCO's RATS meeting in its capacity as a chair of SCO RATS. And this meeting aims to deliberate on security challenges, including the threats of terrorism especially. Okay. So delegations from China, Pakistan and other member nations of Shanghai Cooperation Organization attended the meeting in New Delhi, and India hosted a meeting of counter-terror experts from the SCO countries in May 2022, right? So the host for this event was our country, India. Now talking about some of the important international current affairs. Which country has recently pledged to cut the carbon emissions by 43% from 2005 levels by 2030? So Australia's new Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, has announced ambitious climate targets for his country. And he has pledged to cut the carbon emissions by 43% from 2005 levels by the year 2030, which is up from the previous government's target of between 26% to 28%, right? Actually, Australia is one of the world's highest per capita carbon emitters, while Canada is aiming to reduce the emissions up to 40% by 2030 from 2005 levels, and US has the target of reducing it by 52%. Okay, so these data are quite relevant. Which country recently signed an executive order aimed at protecting LGBTQ people? So US President Joe Biden signed an executive order aimed at protecting LGBTQ people from the laws of conservative states that increasingly target the rights of gay, lesbians, transgender youth and others. Okay, so this order seeks to use the force of a federal government to prevent inhuman practices of the conversion therapy, and also it will seek to expand the access to suicide prevention and mental health resources for the LGBTQ people, right? So this order has been introduced in USA. India recently organized Mango Festival in which country to boost the export of mangoes? So APEDA has organized an 8-day-long mango festival in the country, Bahrain, to boost the export of our mangoes, right? So Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal said that 34 varieties of mangoes from the states of West Bengal, Bihar, Jharkhand, Uttar Pradesh and Odisha are being displayed at 8 different locations of Bahrain's Al Jazeera Group supermarket. Okay, and what is the full form of APEDA? Agricultural and Processed Food Product Export Development Authority, right? NPCI International has signed Memorandum of Understanding with a company of which Western country to expand the RuPay card and the UPI. So NPCI International, which is actually the international arm of NPCI, has signed MOU with Lyra Network of France for acceptance of UPI and RuPay card there in France. And India is doing 5.5 billion UPI transactions in a month, and France is the first Western country with which India has partnered to expand its UPI services, right? The country's first ever Girl Panchayat, Balika Panchayat, was organized in which state? So this is the state Gujarat. I think in the later part of the video we'll discuss this question in a detailed manner. Which country has announced a funding of $122 million for India to prevent avoidable epidemics? So the US has announced a funding of $122 million for India to prevent avoidable epidemics, early detection of disease threats, and rapid and effective response. And the total funding will be distributed to 3 top health research institutions, which are these: Indian Council of Medical Research, then National Institute of Virology, and the third one is National Institute of Epidemiology, over a period of 5 years. Okay. Which country has recognized India as the country of the year in Europe's biggest startup conference called Viva Tech? So Europe's biggest startup conference, Viva Tech 2020, has recognized India as the country of the year, and Union Minister of Electronics and IT, Ashwini Vaishnaw, inaugurated the India Pavilion at the Vivotech Technology Exhibition. So around 65 startups from India are participating in the conference with the government support. And also India has created 100 unicorns in few years, while Europe has created only 26 unicorns. Okay. Next question. Additional assistance of 1000 crore rupees under National Disaster Response Fund was recently approved to which states? So high-level committee under the chairmanship of Union Home Minister Amit Shah approved an additional central assistance of over 1000 crore rupees under the National Disaster Response Fund to the state Rajasthan and Nagaland. And these two states were affected by drought actually during 2021 to 22, and the assistance of 1003.95 crore rupees would be provided to Rajasthan, and 39.28 crore rupees would be provided to Nagaland. And this is above the fund that has been released by the center to the states from State Disaster Response Fund, right? So these two states are Rajasthan and Nagaland. Let's see some of the important states that were in news. Which state has slashed value added tax, that is VAT, on aviation turbine fuel to 4% from 20%? Actually, to strengthen air connectivity to the state and boost tourism, Jharkhand government has slashed VAT on aviation turbine fuel to 4% from 20%. And recently the price of ATF was reduced by 1.3%, which was the first reduction after it was hiked for 10 rounds of hike in ATF prices. So basically ATF constitutes about 40% of the operating cost of an airline. Okay. Which state launched Anu Azuthum scheme to bridge the learning gaps in primary education? So Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin launched this particular scheme to bridge the learning gaps in the primary education. And the scheme will ensure that all the students under the 8 years of age in the state are able to read with comprehension, and they have basic arithmetic skills at least by the year 2025. And a committee was formed to design the syllabus for the scheme so as to help each student to develop their own skill set. And this scheme will be implemented in the government and the government aided schools for the next 3 years. Fine. The country's first ever Girl Panchayat, Balika Panchayat, was organized in which state? So this is the repeated question, and now we'll discuss it in detail. So the first ever Girl Panchayat of India, which has been named as Balika Panchayat, was organized in several villages of Gujarat's Kutch district. And this is an initiative of the Women and Child Development Ministry, Welfare Department of the Gujarat government under the Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao campaign. So Balika Panchayat is managed by the people in the 11 to 21 age group, and it aims to promote the social and political development of the girl children, right? Sports Authority of India has opened its first ever set of squash court in which state? So we have talked about it in the previous lecture, and the first ever squash court would be opened in New Delhi, right? Next is, as per RED 2.1's Renewables Global Status Report, what is the position of India in addition of renewable energy capacity in 2021? So as per this report that has been released recently, India had the third highest addition of renewable power capacity in 2021. And India added around 15.4 gigawatts of renewable power capacity in 2021 after China and the US. And China has added 136 gigawatt and USA has added nearly 43 gigawatt of energy. So India is the third largest market in the world for new solar photovoltaics capacity and fourth in the world for total solar energy installations, that is 60.4 gigawatt. Okay. Now let's see some of the important ranks. What is the rank of India in the World Competitiveness Index 2022? So in this, we are ranked at 37th. Which is the topper country in this? It is Denmark, and second is Switzerland. Which state is ranked first in Asia in Affordable Talent in Global Startup Ecosystem report? This is the state Kerala. Also, Kerala has been ranked at 4th in global ranking in GSER. Which tennis player, none of the big three, became the world #1 men's player in the ATP ranking? This is Daniil Medvedev. You have to tell me from which country he belonged to. And here in big three, we are talking about Novak Djokovic, Rafael Nadal, and Roger Federer. Fine. In the World Economic Forum's Travel and Tourism Development Index 2021, where does India rank? So India's rank in this index is 54th among 117 countries. And which were the top 3 countries? First was Japan, second was USA, and the third was Spain. Fine. Next question. Which company launched Internet Explorer browser in 1995? So Microsoft has recently shut down its iconic Internet Explorer browser after 27 years, and it was one of the oldest browsers that was launched in the year 1995. So Microsoft has basically asked its users to switch to its modern edge browser, while the virtual version of the older browser will be available to the user. And in the year 2022, Chrome is the most popular and widely used browser in the world with over 70% market share. Fine. Let's see some of the important companies that were in news. Which company received the first type certificate under the Drone Rules 2021 from the Ministry of Civil Aviation? This is the company IoTech World Aviation, and this is a Gurugram based company. Language model for dialogue application, that is Lambda, is the chatbot of which technology company? So Lambda is the chatbot of Google actually, and don't forget the full form of Lambda. Which state or union territory has announced a joint venture company with NLC India for setting up a 1 gigawatt solar plant? This is the state Assam. Which insurance company is the first in India to offer dental health insurance? So PNB MetLife Insurance has become the first insurance company in India which offers the dental health insurance as well. Okay. Next is, which organization released the report named as Making the Right to Social Security a Reality for the Domestic Workers? So the International Labour Organization released this particular report, and in this it said that only 6% of the domestic workers worldwide have access to comprehensive social protection, and 76.2% of domestic workers, which means 57.7 million people, are women who are the most vulnerable, means they are at highest risk. Okay. So only thing you have to remember is this report belongs to International Labour Organization. Let's see some of the important reports. Which is the most valuable global brand from India as per the Kantar Brands report? So the most valuable global brand from India is TCS. Which institution released a report titled as Payments Vision 2025? This is Reserve Bank of India. Which organization released the report Making the Right to Social Security? This is the repeated question. Answer would be International Labour Organization. And as per the REN 21's Renewable Global Status report, what is the position of India in addition of renewable energy capacity in 2021? Just we have talked about it. India's rank in this is 3rd after China and Russia, and it is ranked at 4th in total solar installations in 1 year. Fine. Next is, what is the theme of the World Day to Combat Desertification and Drought 2022? So World Day to Combat Desertification and Drought is marked every year on 17th of June across the world, and this day focuses on turning the degraded land into healthy or fertile soil to combat the desertification. And this year theme was Rising Up from the Drought Together and United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification is a convention to combat the desertification and it mitigate the effects of drought basically, right? So two things you have to remember. This day is observed on 17th of June and the theme for this year. Let's see some of the important days and themes. Which cricket team created a world record with a one-day international score of 498 runs? This is the country England. And it has made this target against Netherlands. The International Day of Family Remittances is observed in which month? So this is observed in the month of June. And if we talk about particular day, it is 16th of June. When is the World Sea Turtle Day observed every year? Again, answer is 16th of June. What is the theme of the World Blood Donor Day 2022? So we observe this day on 14th of June every year, and this year theme was blood donation, an act of solidarity. Fine. Next question. Which bank has announced to lend $250 million to startups in India? So foreign bank HSBC India announced that it will lend $250 million to high growth technology-led startups in India. And India is the third largest startup ecosystem in the world. And recently there is a rise in the debt needs of the startups in India. And this issue is set to be addressed by the commercial banking vertical of HSBC India. Okay. Let's see some of the important banks. Which state has announced to conduct a migration survey to expand the data bank of expatriates? So migration survey has been announced by the state Kerala. Which major country's central bank has announced its biggest interest rate rise in nearly 30 years? This is the country USA. Which bank has collaborated with Mahagram to digitize the country's payment infrastructure and provide its consumers in rural India more options for transaction? This is IndusInd Bank. Okay. Which payments bank recently implemented Aadhaar-enabled payment system issue charges? This is India Post Payment Bank. Next question. Which city recently hosted the India Energy Transition Summit? So Minister for Power, New and Renewable Energy, Mr. R.K. Singh, addressed the India Energy Transition Summit in New Delhi. And he said that India is leading in energy transition and it is fastest growing renewable energy capacity in the world. And also he affirmed that India can achieve 700 gigawatt of renewable energy by the year 2030 if we manage to achieve the vision of green hydrogen, green ammonia and electric vehicles. Fine. Coming to the question slide. Which is the first city in India to get the processed steel slag road? This is the city Surat. Which city is the venue of the NHA NASSCOM Conclave 2022 on Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission? This is Bangalore. Which city will host India's first international conference on cruise tourism in 2022? This is Mumbai. The Indian National Choir Conclave 2022 was conducted in which city? So this was conducted in Coimbatore. Okay. Now let's start with today's quiz. Here on the slide you can see 5 questions which have been taken from the past 2-3 days current affairs. Pause the video and try to solve each of these questions. And at the end of the lecture, do not forget to share your scores in the comment section. So please be honest and do not cheat with yourself. So that's it for today. I hope you have liked this session. These were the important news and events from today. And we will meet again tomorrow with some more important current affairs. Till then, stay tuned. Thank you so much for watching. And please do not forget to subscribe to GK Today. With this, me Nusrat Sana signing off.